Hello, Hero Collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am, and today I'm going to be reviewing these two Marvel Legends Fantastic Four First Steps, the Human Torch, and the Thing figures. I got these guys a little bit ago. Finally got pictures taken, and I'm going to review them here for you now. I also have the rest of the wave. Those will also come in two video segments, and then we will rank the wave once I am done. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this review. And starting out here, let's take a look at the Human Torch. Now, to bring in the depowered Johnny Storm, you can see, it's a little hard to see, but you can see that it is completely shared body, just in a translucent orange color with different deco and some flame effects, different head. So you can see that comparison there. But I do like the way that this one looks a little bit more, just because it's got those, classic Human Torch line details there on the shoulders, the chest, a little bit on the legs there. No real deco on the back of him, but these added flame effects are nice. You can remove these if you remove the feet, but that's not exactly an easy thing to do without heating up the figure. But you can remove these flame effects when you just remove the hands. They do just slide off. I did remove them for a few photos, but this back flame piece is not removable. I believe it's glued in, even though it is a separate piece. Head sculpt looks pretty good. It's even got those line details just to kind of show off the details of the face, but I think it looks pretty excellent. All the flames have a good gradient from red to, kind of like a yellowish color. Nice 4 deco. He does have a wrist communicator in the translucent color on this wrist here. But yeah, that's about it in terms of just kind of going over the figure. It's got a lot of translucentness to it. I think the part where you can see the most internal structure of the figure is like right here at the mid-torso and the crotch. Otherwise, I think it looks pretty fine from other angles. You can see the back of it there again. So yeah, in terms of accessories, he has a set of fisted hands with some flames on them. And then he also has a set of wide open hands that have flames on them, but these flames aren't glued down, so, if you really push it, you can remove them from the hands. They are a tad bit of a pain to get back on, but they can be put back on. I think I've done it to both hands where I've removed it, but otherwise, there they are. And that was it in terms of accessories. It would have been nice to get some, fire effects, maybe a throwing fire effect, but yeah, it is what it is. So let's go over articulation. The head can go up that far, gets, into the flames, so it doesn't go too far back, but it can go down a little bit. It's on a ball and hinge. He can look side to side and slight amount of pivot. Shoulders do go up that high, full 360, bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows can go all the way, as you can see there. All of the hands swivel and go down and back, or down and up, but they run into the wrist with the flame so they don't get too far up. He is on a ball here at the torso, so he can go forward just a little bit, back more so, can rotate there, and he can get some pivot there. He also has a rotation here at the waist. Belt is a free, it's like a separated piece, but it's keyed into the lower waist. It can't really cover up that cut there, but it doesn't get in the way of it either. Hips can go out very, very far, which is nice. Can kick forward that much. And then he's got a thigh cut. Double jointed pinless knees. And if you really push it, you can get the back of his lower back, but not quite the butt. No boot swivel, but the feet can go down quite a bit. Can go up a bit, and there you go. And then he can get some ankle pivot. So what are my final thoughts on this Human Torch figure? So this Human Torch figure is pretty decent. I do like the way he looks, the translucentness of the figure itself, how all the flames and the deco come together to make it look like he's on fire, especially if you have some backlighting to him. It really looks like he's illuminated. But there are some limitations with the figure. The head going backwards, that is a bit of a pain, especially for a flying character like him. The fact that you can't remove the back flames, I would have appreciated it if we could. I'm not totally upset that we can't. But I think the biggest problem I have with this figure, and it's something that is kind of prevalent throughout this whole wave, is the torso articulation. I would have liked to have seen a double ball or a ball and a hinge to just give that a little bit more range. It could have been implemented here. There's a figure in another video that I feel like really deserved some extra range, but yeah, for this guy, I think it works just fine, but it's not the best that it could be. Another thing that I would really say is some fire effects. Like I mentioned, throwing some flame effects would have been really nice. I believe the Marvel Select figure did that. It would have been cool to see that implemented here. But otherwise, I still think it's a decent figure. I'm definitely happy to have it. Does he have the fun factor? I would say yes. I think so. It's a very engaging figure despite the limitations of the neck articulation and torso articulation. But it is a Flame Don Johnny, so you want to have him flying. You want to have him, doing battle or teasing Ben. It has a fun factor to it, like the name of the segment suggests. As the final rating, I'm gonna give him a 7 out of 10. Could be better, but definitely not bad. I think at full price, it's definitely the better of the two Johnny figures. Not my favorite of the wave, but still a very engaging figure and one that will absolutely be going on my main display with the rest of the 4. Alright, on to Ben here, as you can see in all his Rocky glory now. When I unboxed this guy, we didn't have the movie quite yet, but now that we have had the movie, we know that he doesn't really appear like this. When he does just have the, bare chest exposed, he has boots on still, so this figure is technically inaccurate, but I still think it's a cool figure otherwise. I do like to see the Rocky body of him, even if it's not the most accurate thing from the movie. The head sculpt looks really good. I would have liked to have maybe seen an extra head here where he has like a gritted teeth expression, but this gentle smile is pretty nice. The eyes are even printed really well there with a darker brown color to the brow. But he also has a lot of paint here in the rocks, but as you turn around, he kind of loses that. It becomes very flat, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I still think it's not like the most drastic changes that I've seen in terms of paint to no paint. You can see on the arm here, he does have his communicator, and that actually has a 4 kind of sculpted in there. Looks pretty nice. He's got a 4 on each side of the pants. Pants look really good, all the different lines. Come down to the boots, or what would be the boots. Got some paint chippage there along the bottoms, but then, yeah, coming down to the feet, he's got the toes. Look pretty good. Nice belt with 4 as well. Yeah, not really anything else to go over. Just would have liked to have seen more paint on the back and alternate head. But in terms of accessories, he's got these fists that look pretty good. But then he also has a set of kind of open, expressive hands. Not quite a grip hand, but can be used as grip hand, especially this side. But yeah, they look pretty decent. I mean, maybe a little bit more paint on them would be nice. I don't even know if they have any paint, to be honest, but still, that is it for accessories, so let's go over the articulation. He can look up that high. His head is on a ball peg. Can look down that much. Can look to the sides, of course, but he gets lots of good tilt all around, so that is very, very nice. Like to see that. Arms can go up that high. Do a full 360. The bicep is kind of like an overlay piece, really. It seems like the peg that goes from the bicep joint here into the shoulder is connected, and this is just kind of a loose piece, so you just kind of have to adjust that when you adjust the arm. But then he does get an elbow bend there, and yeah, it can rotate separately right here at the elbow. All of the hands hinge up and they're down quite a bit. Now, the torso joint, or the diaphragm joint here, is interesting. So we can go pretty far back, as you can see, but then not much forward. But, little trick, and I don't even think this is my idea. I think I saw this online, but if you flip the torso around and you need to get a good crunch, that can work. And when it kind of overlaps the lower torso, you don't really see the lack of paint there as much. So I did utilize that a lot. It's not a feature that is, meant to be there, but you can utilize it if need be. But then he does have a waist joint there. Oh, and he does get side-to-side movement as well. You have the hips that go out this far. He can kick forward quite a bit. Back, not so much. Thigh swivel. Double jointed pinless knees. Ding. Really push it, you can kick it a little butt. No boot cut. Feet can go down quite a bit. They can go up a bit. And he does have some ankle pivot there. So, what are my final thoughts on Ben Grimm, The Thing? Well, this was my most anticipated figure from the wave just because I love a good Thing figure. He's a very engaging character because you can put him against all kinds of different enemies, big enemies, small enemies, and he will just kind of clobber them, as his, main catchphrase suggests. And this figure is fun. I do wish, though, that, again, we had the gritted teeth, head, and a bit more range to the torso. That flipping around trick is nice, but it's not, ideal. I would have liked to have seen a bit more range in the torso to begin with, not have to rely on doing that. Otherwise, the biggest problem this figure has is inaccuracy. So if you aren't wanting a bare-chested Thing or even a open toes Thing figure, this might not be the figure for you. And while it hasn't been announced yet, it's rumored and, kind of assumed that we will get more figures for Avengers Doomsday. And they can always go back to the Fantastic Four movie to give us more figures. So I definitely think another Thing figure is on the way. So how much this one is needed down the line will be in question. But otherwise, I still think it's a fun figure to pick up, especially if you like the Thing overall. Does he have the fun factor? Oh yeah, I put him against some other figures. I put him on his own. I did my best to be creative with him, and I had a great time posing him around. I really like this figure, despite its faults. So in terms of a rating, this one's going to be a little bit more biased in the fact that I really like it, but I know it's going to be obsolete down the line. But I'm still getting it now and probably going to continue. I'm not going to sell it when we get a better version. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. But if you are preferring a different look, or maybe just this look isn't what you want, or it's going to get replaced eventually, you can probably hold off, and I don't think it's as necessary. Alright, and that was my review of these two Marvel Legends from the Fantastic Four First Steps movie. We have Human Torch and The Thing. Let me know what you thought of the video down in the comments below. Did you pick up these figures? What are your thoughts on them? Do you agree or disagree? And like I said before, I will have videos coming up very, very soon of the rest of the wave. I have Mr. Fantastic and Susan together, and I have the Silver Surfer and the Depowered Johnny together in a video that I plan to do. Once I get through all those, it's time for a wave ranking. But until then, I hope you all enjoy it, and I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.